You want to hear a positive fact about Memphis? All right, and Tennessee. Tennessee is one of the nation's best states for seniors looking to relocate. Tennessee placed fourth on Kiplinger's report for 10 best states for retirement in 2016. So not only are millennials coming here, but empty nesters and retirees are settling here as well, which bodes well for our future as an intergenerational city. In fact, someone wrote me a couple of weeks ago and said, don't you read the newspapers or listen to the radio and hear all the negative things that are happening here in Memphis? I said, I absolutely read and keep up with what's happening in our city. Nothing trying to be swept under the rug. I just believe we have more going for us than more going against us. Amen. And I also believe that Philippians 4:8, the Word of God tells us, whatever is good, whatever is lovely, whatever is just, whatever is honorable, whatever is of good report, whatever is praiseworthy, think on these things, because it is those positives that empower us to overcome the negative. So I'm bullish on Memphis. Well, we began a new series called Famous Last Words. And I need you to participate with me. Take out your devices, your cell phones. You can take those out and participate in a text poll with me. Since last week was President's Day, I've decided to focus on presidential last words. So take out your devices, take out your phones, put them up when I start preaching, but you can take them out right now. And you will text to 22333. And you will text in the message, Hope Church. No space, Hope Church. So text 22333, the message, Hope Church, no space, and then you ought to be in. Remember, this is anonymous. No one knows how you are voting. Question number 1. What president's last words were? Is it the fourth? What president's last words were? Is it the fourth? Was it George Washington? Was it John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, or James Madison? Just put A, B, C, D in the message section and send. All right. Let's see how we're doing here. Let's see if this crowd is smarter than the last crowd. All right. Since most of you have said C, then it's Thomas Jefferson. He did say, is it the fourth? He held on to the 4th of July. He died in 1826, but it was a significant day, of course, in his life and the history of our country, Independence Day. Here's the second one. Which president's last words were, I want to go. God, take me. I want to go. God, take me. Who said that? Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy. Who said that? All right. Franklin and Dwight are neck and neck. Okay. Smart crowd. Dwight Eisenhower said that. Dwight Eisenhower said that. Look up at me for a moment. I don't know what my last words will be. Neither do you. But I can live in such a way that I can control what others say about me and my legacy. Let me give you a third one, third presidential. What president's last words were? That is very obvious. That is very obvious. Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, John Kennedy, or Lyndon Johnson. That is very obvious. Okay, y'all are determined to let Franklin say something today. And the answer is John F. Kennedy. Now listen to the context of his last words. As he was driving through Dallas in a motorcade, Nellie Connally, who was the first lady of Texas, the wife of Governor John Connally at the time, looked around, leaned back and said, "Mr. President, look at the crowds. Hear all the cheers. You can't say Dallas doesn't love you." And he said, "That's very obvious." And boom, he was gone. I don't know what my last words will be, and neither do you. But I can live a life and control what others will say about me or my legacy. Let's look at a biblical character. Who said this? Who asked Jesus this question near the end of his life? It's the last recorded words we have from him. Are you the Messiah, or should we keep looking for someone else? Was that Thomas, the disciple, Mary, the mother of Jesus, John the Baptizer, or John the disciple? Who said, are you the Messiah, or should we keep looking for someone else? All right, I commend you. John the Baptizer. That's good that you look and read ahead in the bulletin. That is wonderful. The phrase that I want you to remember this week is follow your gut. Follow your gut. John asks the question, are you the one, or should we look for another? Are you the Messiah, or should we be looking for somebody else? And John was sent word by Jesus. Let's see what he said. When Jesus had finished giving these instructions to his 12 disciples, he went out to teach and preach in the towns throughout the region. And then John the Baptizer, Baptist is a poor translation, no denomination here. He was known because he baptized people into the new covenant. So John the Baptizer, who was in prison, heard all about the things that the Messiah was doing. So he sent his disciples to ask Jesus, are you the Messiah we've been looking, expecting? Or should we be looking for someone else? Jesus told them, now go back to John and you tell him what you have heard and seen. Tell him the blind see, the lame walk, the leprosy are cured, the deaf hear, the dead are raised to life, and the good news is being preached to the poor. And he added, tell John that God especially blesses those who do not fall away because of me, who do not despair because of me, who do not doubt because of me. What strange words from John the Baptizer near the end of his life to ask that question. Why did John doubt? Why do we doubt? What John was really asking at the end of his life is, Jesus, what I have believed about you from the very beginning, is it really true? Have I spent my life really doing what I should have been doing? All of us reach a point of doubt, and I may be talking to somebody here who's in a good position in life, and this message may not resonate with you today, but keep on living, because you're either in some trouble or doubt, you're either coming out of some trouble or doubt, or you are headed towards some trouble or doubt, and you will need these words. So what was he really saying? Because we all have doubt. It's a part of the fallen human condition. Am I the right man? Am I the right woman? Am I the right mother? Am I the right father? Am I the right husband? Am I the right wife? Do I have the right job? Did I make the right decision to blow the whistle? Or did I make the right decision to remain quiet? Am I the right pastor for a congregation? Did I make the right decisions to stay single? All of us have doubts. Why did John doubt? Well, he doubted because, number one, he was being persecuted for speaking the Father's truth. And in reality, he felt abandoned by God. He was being persecuted for speaking truth to power and felt abandoned by God. It was as if he was saying, God, I'm standing up for you, but you are not standing up for me. I'm in prison for speaking the truth. And whenever we are persecuted for speaking the truth, living the truth, we will sometimes doubt, am I doing the right thing? Now, what truth was John speaking? It was a hard truth, as he was speaking truth to power. This is what got him into trouble. Herod himself had ordered his soldiers to arrest John and put him where? In prison. Now, Herod did this to please his wife Herodias. Herodias had been married to Herod's brother Philip, but then Herod took her and married her. And John, the Baptizer, told Herod, it is not right for you to be married to your brother's wife. You took her. It's not that she's a widow, was dead, or he was dead. You took her, and that's not right. So Herodias hated John. She wanted him dead. But she was not able to persuade Herod to kill him at that time. Why? Herod was afraid to kill John because he knew in his heart of hearts that he was a good and holy man. So he protected him for a while. In fact, he liked listening to John, although what John said often left him with so many questions. So John said, I spoke your truth, Father. I spoke up for you. You are not speaking up for me. So Jesus, you know I'm in prison. You know I've been persecuted for saying that which is true. Are you the one? Or should we look for another? Here's the second reason he doubted, and why we doubt. He doubted because Jesus' timing for deliverance was different than John's expectation. He doubted because Jesus' timing for deliverance was different than John's expectation. John expected that Jesus would create a political kingdom, deliver Israel, and then a spiritual kingdom. He did just the opposite. He came to deliver a spiritual kingdom whose political expression yet awaits. And oftentimes I doubt because his timing does not match my expectations. And so he said, are you the one? Or should we look for another? Are you the Messiah we've been expecting? Or should we be looking for somebody else? Because the timing didn't match. I don't know about you, but I've been in situations where I said, God, now you got to come through by Friday. I mean, I got you. You have got to come through. If you don't come through, my utilities, they're going to cut off. They're going to take my car, foreclose on my house. I'm going to rupture some relationship because I can't pay somebody back or any number. Please come through by Friday. I wake up Saturday morning. I say, well, now, if you want to do it today, that's fine too. Because his timing doesn't always match my expectation. And when those are opposite, I doubt. He doubted for a second and third reason. He doubted because his life circumstances were inexplicable. His life circumstances were inexplicable. John was saying, look, I was born. It was prophesied that I would be the forerunner of Christ. I was raised in a priest's home, Zechariah. I live differently than people as you commanded me to do. I baptized your son, and the heavens opened up, and a dove descended on him in the form, a Holy Spirit descended in the form of a dove. And I heard you say, this is my beloved son in whom I am very well pleased. Listen to him. And yet I find myself in a prison, trapped by circumstances, and you know it. Where are you? What are you going to do about it? He doubted because life's circumstances sometimes are inexplicable. We cannot understand this sometimes seemingly senseless struggle that we call life. And when we can't explain God's hand, we're left to trust his heart. But it causes us to doubt. And in times like that, I need to consider the preponderance of the evidence and follow my gut. John, look at all God has done through you and is doing in the larger scheme of things. Here's a fourth reason. John the Baptizer doubted, even though he was not weak. He doubted even though he was not weak. Doubt is not just for weak people, children, inexperienced or immature people, people who've not been walking or following the Lord. All of us are susceptible to doubt. It can be for the most experienced Jesus follower, the wisest or the strongest among us. All of us are susceptible. It does not mean we are weak. We are weakened at the moment, but it does not mean we are weak. John was not weak, and Jesus told his audience so. In fact, he eulogized John. When John's followers left, Jesus began talking to the people about John. He asked them these three rhetorical questions. A rhetorical question means I already know the answer to it, and they did too. He said to them, what did you people go out in the desert to see? Someone who is weak, like a stem of grass blowing in the wind? No, you didn't go out to hear someone weak. That's not who John was when you went to hear him. Really, he said, what did you expect to see? Someone dressed in fine clothes, living on a bed of ease? Of course not. People who wear fine clothes live in beds of ease or in the king's palaces. That was not John. So what did you really go out to see? A prophet? Yes, John is a prophet, someone who warns, someone who admonishes, someone who will tell you the truth no matter what the consequences are. That's who you went out to see. John doubted, but he was not weak. He was weakened at the moment. So when we doubt, it doesn't mean that we're childish or that we're weak. We may be weakened at the moment. It's at those times that I have to remember what Jesus said. Look at the preponderance of the evidence and God's goodness and grace and his grandeur all around, and follow your gut. 5, doubting something is sometimes easier than believing something. One of the reasons we doubt is it's just easier to doubt than believe. Because once I believe, That means that I have to live a certain commitment. And I don't always want to live a life of commitment. Sometimes I just want to do what I want to do, and when I doubt something, it frees me. It gives me an excuse because I'm on the fence. I haven't come down one way or the other, and it's easier for me to just walk my independent way because I have refused to take a position. So doubting something is a lot easier sometimes than believing something. That's what Jesus said to the people of his day. It's applicable to us in the 21st century too. Because he was saying, what do you believe? Listen to how he said it. What can I say about the people who live today? What are they like? The people today are like children who are sitting in the marketplace. Children who don't know how to make up their minds of what they believe, who are easily persuadable. One group of children calls to the other group, we played the flute music and you did not dance. All right, you don't feel like dancing, you're not happy. Well, we sang a funeral song, but you were not sad. You're not dancing, you're not sad. Why do I say people are like that? Because he said John came, he came not eating, not drinking with other people or wine, and you said he had a demon. And then I came, I was eating and drinking with people, and you called me a wine bibber and a glutton. What do you want? John, Jesus, both living out the Father's truth, but you rather not believe either one. Because doubting something is often easier than believing something. Here's the last one. Jesus said to John, I urge you to doubt your doubt. Doubt your doubt. Your doubt does not have to be right. In fact, most of the time it is not right. You don't have to give in to the doubt. Why not doubt your doubt? John, look at the evidence. The blind can see, the crippled can walk, people with leprosy are healed, the deaf can hear, the dead are brought back to life, and the good news is being told to the poor. John, great blessings belong to those who don't have a problem accepting me and all that comes with me, the blessings and the persecution. So I urge you today, if you're sitting in a place like John, trapped by the prison of circumstances, doubt your doubt. Let me close with this story of President Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt, affectionately known as Teddy Roosevelt, was the 26th president of the United States. He came to power after the assassination of William McKinley in 1901. He went on to serve 8 years in that office. He was 42 years old when he came into office, still our youngest president to date. But Theodore Roosevelt had no easy road, nor did he have an easy life. He was born a brittle asthmatic, suffered with that all of his life, and he was badly bullied at a young age. In fact, at 12 years of age, his dad, whom he loved and adored, his dad said to him, "Now, Teddy, you have a strong mind, but you have a weak body. So you're going to have to work extra hard to succeed." He took those words to heart. It propelled him to learn how to box and to gain a reputation of being rough. But in addition to a lifelong debilitating illness, when he was a young man of 26 or 25 years old, his mother died in the family home, 3 a.m. in the morning, typhoid fever. But on the same day, in the same house, 11 hours later, his 22-year-old wife, Alice Lee, also died after 2 days before she had delivered their daughter in childbirth, whose name was also Alice Lee. That was the lowest point of his life. And in his diary, what he wrote that day was a big X. He didn't know what to say. And he later wrote, "The light has gone out of my life." The next day he wrote in his diary, "I don't know what else to say except it must be God's will." Sometimes that's all we know to say. And yet, when we look at the life of Theodore Roosevelt, suffering what he did at 26 years of age, he bounced back. You know why? He doubted his doubt. That's a good lesson for us. It was a good lesson for John. Follow your gut. As you look at the preponderance of evidence and the goodness and the glory, the grandeur of God all around us, in your heart of hearts, in the deepest recesses of your soul, doubt your doubt. I'm not going to close with a prayer. I'm going to close with a song, which is a prayer. Now, I have to confess to you, I hated this song when I was younger. But as I have marched toward chronological maturity, I love this song. And if you say this is not quite where I am today, preacher, that's fine. Keep on living. Trials dark on every hand, and we cannot understand all the ways that God will lead us to that blessed promised land. He will guide us with his eye, and we'll follow until we die, and we'll understand it better by and by. Oh, by and by, when the morning comes, when all the saints of God gather home, we will tell the story, how we overcome, and we'll understand it better by and by. Temptations and hidden snares often catch us unaware, and our hearts are made to bleed by a thoughtless word or deed, and we wonder why the test when we try to do our best, but we'll understand it better by and by. Oh, by and by, when the morning comes, when all the saints of God gather home, we will tell the story, how we overcome, and we'll understand it better. We will understand it. Say it with me. We will understand it. One more time. We will understand it better by and by. If you don't understand that song, just keep on living. You're going to remember it one day. Now, before we benedict, if you're here today and you want to be a Jesus follower, get off the fence. Our prayer room is available, located right behind the big information booth. Someone is waiting to talk to you. You have some other spiritual question, they're waiting to talk to you. Or if you want to be prayed with or for, they're waiting to pray with you. Look up at me if you would. Here's our benediction. Now unto him who is able this week to keep us in our joys and our sorrows, our laughter and our tears, our work and our leisure, going out and coming in until he allows us to meet again. And all who agree said, oh, don't say amen. I want you to look at somebody and say, follow your gut. Touch at least 6 people before you leave.